Hello Year 6 and welcome to our second geography lesson of the half term, and we are going to continue learning about migration. Make sure you've got pen and paper ready for the Knowing More, Remembering More quiz, which we are going to start straight away. Okay, knowing more, remembering more. Question 1. Internal migration is when people move from one country to another. True or false? Internal migration is when people move from one country to another. True or false? Number 2, which city is most densely populated? Which city is more densely populated? Is it Birmingham, Leeds, London, or Nottingham? Question 3, what is international migration? What is international migration? I'm going to give you 15 seconds. And finally, question 4, which region do most people move to within the UK? Which region do most people move to within the UK? So I'll give you a clue in terms of the answer. You want to give a compass direction. Okay, you should have given answers for all of them. Let's go through the answers and have a look. Okay, question 1. Internal migration is when people move from one country to another. It is false. Okay, internal migration is when people move within the same country. Number 2, which city is most densely populated? It would be London. Number 3, what is international migration? It's the movement of people from one country to another. And where do most people immigrate? Where do most people migrate to within the UK? It is the southeast. Well done to all of you, got those right. Remember to go and you have these questions again to practice on your Purple Mash quiz at the end of the lesson. It gives you an extra opportunity to embed your learning. So our objectives for today are to identify push and pull factors and describe how push and pull factors might lead to migration. Okay, so knowledge organisers today, you've got your vocabulary, you've got education, and which is the act and process of being teaching and or being taught. You've got healthcare, which is the process of giving medical care to individuals or a community. And then down here, 7, 8, and 9, you've got pollution, which is the release of harmful materials into the atmosphere. Push and pull factors, which we'll learn a bit more about in the lesson. And again, you've got a big list of push and pull factors in the green on the right-hand side. You might want to refer back to this one during the lesson to help you as well. Okay. So last lesson, we looked at migration, international migration. And today we're going to be looking at push and pull factors and identifying the difference between immigration, which we mentioned briefly last lesson, and emigration. Okay. So what is the difference between immigration or emigration? Okay, what do the two words mean? Right. Immigration is the movement of people into a country. When you immigrate, you move into a country. If you're emigrating, you're leaving your country. You're moving out of the country you reside in. So if we take us, for example, if we're going to move to, say, Australia or America or France or whatever, we would emigrate to that country. But to the French or the Americans or the Australians, we would be immigrants because we are moving into their country. So it can be a little bit confusing, but just remember, immigration is moving into a country, whereas emigration is leaving a country. So an independent task for you, right? So explain push and pull factors. So what are push and pull factors? Right. So let's make that very clear. A push factor is a reason for leaving a country or leaving a place, where a pull factor is a reason to attract someone to a city or a new country if you're going to be emigrating. Now, one example for each, particularly push factors, could be war. Okay. particularly if you're in a war-torn country and your life is at risk, people is a big push factor. Okay, pull factors are education, jobs, healthcare as well. So there are the examples for it. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and I want you to think about what are the push and pull factors for this village. And then what I'll do is that when we come back in, I will give you a couple of examples. So what are the push and pull factors for you in this UK village? Pause the video, please. Okay, come back together. So what are the push and pull factors for this village? Well, some of the pull factors, why you might pull there? Well, you get a lot of maybe retired people move to this area because it's quieter than a city. There's less traffic than the city. There's less noise pollution than the city. For you, though, a push factor, you being quite young, excuse me, there's not a lot of facilities for entertainment. So the cinemas, the shops, a lot of those things are in nearby cities which you'd have to travel to get to. So that might be a push factor away from that area. Let's try another one then. Barcelona, what are the push and pull factors for you? Same principle, pause the video, we'll come back together and I'll give you a few examples and ideas. What are the push and pull factors for you? Okay, pause the video, please. Okay, let's come back together. So, Barcelona, what are the push and pull factors? It is a vibrant, lively city with lots of entertainment, lots of bars, lots of things to do for people. So that would really be a pull factor. It is a major city within Spain, so there'll be lots of job opportunities and things like that. Again, you've got a big footballing community there as well, so you've got a lot of people traveling there. There's lots of famous landmarks there as well. They will pull people there to go. But again, as people get older or people who would like a bit more space for their family to grow will push back, because if you look at the pictures, they're very densely packed in. There doesn't seem to be a lot of green area in the city. Not many of the places have gardens, and you can see a lot of the houses that you can see are very high-rise buildings. So again, not maybe the nicest place in terms of growing space for children to grow up in, because there's not a lot of green land for them to play in. Okay, we're going to watch this video about why do people migrate. There is no speaking in it, so you just need to follow the writing. So don't worry about if you can't hear anything. Okay, let's press play. Hopefully it will work. Okay, so the video raises some really nice points. Hopefully you can remember them. What I'd like to do is pause the video, and I'd like you to maybe think of a couple of, just write down a few notes from what you've read from the video. Pause the video, please. Okay, right. Hopefully you've made a few notes from that, and we'll come back together. So we're going to come into our first task. So migration usually happens for a number of push and pull factors. So it says partner task, or you can do it on your own if you're particularly working from home. It says organize the statement into push and pull factors to work out why people may emigrate to a different country. Now, this activity is in the work pack if you've got the work pack. If not, you can just write on your piece of paper push and pull factors and then write them down as a list of which one goes where. Right, would you like to pause the video now and do the activity, please? Sorry, let's go back a second. Would you like to pause the video now and do that activity, please? I apologize for skipping the slide. Okay, hopefully you've finished now and you've managed to organize those statements into push and pull factors. Let's move on to the next part of the activities. Okay, so what about where we live? We live in Kent, we live in Thames, we come to school in Thamesmead, we work in Thamesmead, some of us live in Thamesmead, some people live slightly outside. But I think for argument's sake, we can say we live near the big city of London. Okay, there are many push and pull factors for every place in the world, but they also depend upon the person. So what a push factor might be for me will be maybe a different push or pull factor for you. Okay, so for example, some people hate loud noises. Now that would be a push factor for some people, but some people love loud music and loud noises and go to lots of parties and things like that. So the different elements within the same town might attract or detract different people. Now, your second task here is, what are the push and pull factors for London for you? Not for other people, but for you. Okay, I want you to pause the video. And once you pause the video and we come back together, we've got another task to do. Pause the video, please. Okay, hopefully you've written down your push and pull factors for London for yourself. Now, for those of you who are in school, I want you to share them with your partner now and see if some of them are the same or are they different. Pause the video, please. Okay, fantastic. So hopefully you've shared those with your partner. Maybe you agreed on some of them, maybe you disagreed on something, but that's the whole point. People like different things, so push and pull factors will be different for different people. Okay, last challenge questions. Now, we did mention this in the video if you watch carefully. Why might the social, economic, and environmental factors within a developing country impact the desire to emigrate? Now, when we say developing country, we're talking about countries that are, I would say, in a demographic, they are poorer. So we're talking about a lot of African countries, a lot of East Asian countries, a lot of India used to be one of them. They're more up and coming now, but you've also got a lot of South American countries. So the poorer countries, they're developing. They're not quite to the level of where Britain is, America is, and a lot of European countries, Australia as well. So look at these countries that are still trying to find their way in the world, financially and educationally and medically, to be a top power within the world. So why might migration be a desire for the people who live there? Try and come up with two examples for each. It says provide examples, two examples for pushes and pulls for that country. That is your challenge. Write them down if you can now, please, and pause the video. Fantastic, and hopefully you've come up with a couple of ideas. A lot of them are the fact that, push factors from developing countries, the fact that they have low paid jobs that are difficult, long working hours, and quite dangerous. The medical care is really poor. They have really poor education, so they've got very little opportunities to get themselves out of living in poor conditions. So all of them are push factors for them to migrate either from another city within their country or to migrate out of the country. Okay, let's do a quick testing of our knowledge before we finish our lesson. So question 1, people moving into a country is. Number 2, people moving out of the country is. Question 3, reasons encouraging people to migrate away from the area are. And reasons encouraging people to migrate into an area are something factors. And pause the video, try and answer them, and we'll go for the answers. Okay, let's go through the answers then. Oops, sorry. So people moving into a country is immigration. Number 2, people moving out of the country is emigration. Reasons encouraging people to migrate away are pull factors, and reasons encouraging people to migrate are push factors. Okay, so today, recapping the learning, we've identified positive areas for migration as well as negative, and we've actually looked at how migration has affected London. Right, well done, Year 6. You've worked really well today. Can you make sure that you do go to Purple Mash to complete the short quiz? And I will see you again for your next lesson soon. Have a good day. See you later. Bye.